Hi everybody, welcome to the Inexperienced Chef channel. This is a new channel and we're going to be doing some great things here. I'm going to be teaching you guys some replica recipes that I've learned over the years. We're going to be trying recipes that my family have passed down over generations, and we're also going to be tinkering with ideas that I've just been, fundling in the brain. So um, if you just joining in, welcome. You're joining in right on time. This is a new channel, like I said, so hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we're going to take this journey together. Now, today, what we're going to do is we're going to be making the Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwich. Now, what I've learned that is fairly simple. It really consists of three main ingredients. Of course, you're going to have chicken. Today we have Mr. Purdue, one of my favorites, deboned chicken thighs. A lot of people use breast, but I like to use the thighs because personally I think it's more juicy and more tender than the thighs. But I mean than the breast. But that's just my opinion. You can use whatever type of portion of the chicken you want, long as you don't have bones in it. Also, we have brioche buns. You gotta have your brioche buns, right? So we're gonna toast these up. We're gonna butter them up real nice and good, and toast them and lay them out with some sauce. And of course, Chick-fil-A is good for their dill pickles. So we have Mount Olive's pickles right here, dill. So they're kosher hamburger chips, but we're gonna use them on our chicken hamburger today. All right, so to begin, we're gonna start with our brine. We're gonna make a brine for the chicken, and then we're going to set everything up after that. Okay, on the top left-hand corner, we have the all-purpose flour. You gotta have the flour if you're gonna make some perfect fried chicken. After that, we have pickle juice. Now, don't ask me, but Chick-fil-A, they use pickle juice on their sandwich, so we're going to use it today too. Also, we're going to use powdered sugar. Now, powdered sugar is something that I usually don't use in my chicken, but being as though that Chick-fil-A use powdered sugar, we're going to use it today and see how it goes. We also have 1/4 of cornstarch. You need your cornstarch. That's what gives it that crispy crunch right there. Right here, we're going to go with our Creole seasoning. That Creole seasoning gives it that Louisiana kick, so we got to have that. Right here, we have combined chili powder, and we have cayenne pepper. You got to have your cayenne pepper, and you got to have your chili powder. You can't go wrong without it. Right here, we have our smoked paprika. You need that smoked paprika for that color. Right here, we have our kosher salt. You need kosher salt. And right here, we have MSG. Now, I don't use MSG as well, but Papa's use MSG, so we're going to use MSG today as well. So, now that you have most of the ingredients, we can start prepping, and then we can add on the rest of the ingredients afterwards. Alright, now it's time to make our brine, or our wet batter if you want to call it that. Here we go. Alright, for starters, we're going to start off with 2 eggs. So make sure we crack them nice and good. Make sure you don't want to get no shells inside the cup. If you do, just take it out. I get shells inside cups every time when I crack eggs, but I just take it out, no big deal. Like I said, inexperienced chef, right? Then you want to add your hot sauce. One, 2, 3. 3 tablespoons. Like I said, this is a Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwich, so we gotta make it nice and spicy. Okay, so we're gonna add the pickle juice. Next, we're gonna add the chili pepper. Now I'm not putting it all all of them inside there because I measured all the ingredients out for specific things. Some of them is for the wet batter, and some of them is going to be for the dry batter for the flour mix. So, but I have all the exact measurements will be in the description box below, so don't even worry about that. And like I said, this is a recreation, so you can twink it up, do what you want to do with it, put your own tweaks into it. It don't even matter. As long as you happy with it, then you good. All right. And this we're going to add our onion powder and garlic powder mix. Gotta have that Creole season. Right here, red chili pepper and cayenne pepper. Red chili powder. All right. You just mix it in like that. A little bit of kosher sauce. That pepper got right in my nipples. And the MSG. I know y'all probably said, well, why you over top of it with the pepper? Like I said, an experienced chef. So we working together. Okay, so now we're going to add our buttermilk. You get yourself a whisk or a fork, whatever you can use, a spoon, fork, whisk, and you just mix it all up. Alright, after you add all your seasonings and mix it up, you should have a nice cool color like this. Alright, on to the next stage. Okay, so now we're going to clean our chicken. So as you can see, I only took out 2 pieces of thighs because I'm only going to use 2 pieces of thighs. I'm going to save the rest of the chicken for another video. Stay tuned for that one because I'm going to make a Popeye's chicken sandwich next on my next video. So stay tuned. But right now we're going to clean off the chicken. So most people, they clean off all the excess fat on the chicken. Me personally, I like to leave a little bit of fat on because I believe that a little bit of fat just gives the chicken that more of the flavor and the juices that we want. But hey, what do I know? Inexperienced chef, right? So right now we're gonna just cut some of this fat off the edge of this chicken. Now I'm not wearing any gloves right now, but don't worry, I did wash my hands, so I'm not that inexperienced. So you just put it right here and you just cut it off right here like so. You just get that excess fat off right there. And like I said, I'm not going to get all the fat off, but I just want to get the majority of the fat, for video purposes. But truth be told, if I wasn't making a video, I would leave all the fat on. But so let's just get just a little bit more of this off. Cool. And there you have it. 2 perfectly cut chicken thighs with a little bit of fat on the sides. Okay, so let's start getting these chickens marinated and set in the freezer, well, in the refrigerator, so they can absorb all the good juices and stuff. Okay, so we have our freshly made brine or marinade, and we have our beautiful looking Purdue chicken thighs that I cut off most of the fat, not all of it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to lay it inside that brine and just let it absorb inside there. And we're going to put it inside the refrigerator for 2 to 4 hours. Now, some people do it for 24 hours. I hear that that's the best. It comes out more tender and juicy, but if you press for time, you can do for 2 to 4 hours. If you really press for time, you probably go for about 30-45 minutes. So But let's just put this in the refrigerator for 2 hours, 2 to 4 hours, and let's see how it come out. So now we want to get our dry batter together, or our flour, our seasoned flour. So at first we're going to add the base of the flour is the actual all-purpose flour. So we're going to add that to a big bowl. We're going to add our cayenne and dark chili powder together. Mix that. We're going to add our MSG. We're going to add our powdered sugar. We're going to add our garlic powder and onion powder mixture. Fresh cracked black pepper. And again, all the measurements will be in the description box below. Some of that Creole seasoning. Smoked paprika. Kosher salt. And last but not least, cornstarch. And we're going to take our whisk and we're just going to give that a nice mixture. And mix it up real nice and fine. And what you want to do is you want to taste your flour. Now y'all see that? You see how I got the color? See? Now this is going to be some good flour right here. And then like I said, you taste it. Yeah, that's good. That's perfect. Okay. Now your dry batter is done. Okay, so on to the next step. So we have our brine chicken right here. It's been marinating for 4.5 hours. I thought I was going to do 2 hours, but I ended up doing 4.5 hours. So that's good. We have our seasoned flour right here, and we have our cooling rack over top of a sheet tray to place it on after we do the coating, because we wanted the flour coating to sit on the chicken, so because you don't want to just dump it in the flour and then dump it inside the oil, because then the crumbs and everything will fall to the bottom of the pan. So you want to give it a chance to sit on the chicken and absorb, so everything can be set in place. So we're gonna start with taking this off, and we're just gonna start. Just wanna drip it off a little bit, let it hang drip, and dump it inside your flour. And you want to toss it around nice and good, and make sure you get every piece of the chicken. You want to coat every piece. You don't want to miss no nook, no cranny. I like to press it, keep it on there, make it stay nice and compact. Flip it around, do the same thing. You take it out, you just give it a nice little shake off. And you place it on the rack like that, and you just repeat the process. On the side note, I should have been using this hand to grab the chicken and dump it in here, then using this hand to put it on the rack, but you know, the inexperienced chef, right? And there you have it. Your wet batter, dry batter, coated chicken. Okay, so now we got our oil in our wok pan. As y'all can see, it is bubbling hot. I had it sitting up for about 375 for about 15 minutes. Get it nice and hot. You want your oil nice and hot. As you can see, we have our chicken right here. You can see the flour mixture absorbed into the chicken. And now we're just going to place our chicken gently into our hot oil. You want to lay it inside there. You don't want to toss it in there. You're going to lay it in there just like that. And you want to repeat the process. Since this is kind of a big wok pan, I'm just going to put all three inside. And after you get them all inside, make sure it's separated, not touching. And you want to let them cook for about 10-15 minutes, or at least until the chicken start floating up golden brown, or till they're about 165 degrees temperature internally. So we're gonna let that cook for right now, and then we're gonna make our Chick-Fil-A sauce. Okay, so while that chicken's sounding good and smelling good, it's time to make the Chick-Fil-A sauce. So we have our 6 main ingredients right here, and we have my choice of seasonings. Now remember, you can use your own choice of seasoning. This is your recipe. This is a replica recipe, so you make it your own. Alright, so we're going to start off with the half a cup of mayo. We're just going to pour into this bowl right here. Get this out the way so you guys can see. And we're going to start with 2 tablespoons of yellow mustard. Put it in there like that. 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. 1/4 cup of honey, to give it that sweetness, and also that texture, that binding texture. Honey is so thick, so it makes everything just stick together. We're going to have 1/4 cup of barbecue sauce. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, or you can use freshly squeezed lemon. I use freshly squeezed lemon. I'm also going to use my Creole seasoning right here. Just going to add dashes right there, some fresh cracked black pepper. Last but not least, onion powder. You just get yourself a whisk. You just mix all that goodness together. Starting to look like Chick-Fil-A sauce too. Done. Homemade Chick-Fil-A sauce. If it's too soft, if it's too liquidy, you can just add a little bit more honey, a little bit more mayo to thicken it up, and you're all good. Now on to the next one. Let's check on that chicken. Okay, so as y'all can see, the chicken is now floating up and it's got a nice golden brown crisp to it. So it is time to take it out. So you just grab one at a time. Get some of the excess grease off. And you place it back on your sheet tray. On your cooling rack. And it's always good to have a cooling rack because you don't want to sit it on, you don't want to take your meat out hot grease and sit it like on a pan or a paper plate, because then it gets all soggy. You want to keep it crisp. You want to keep it nice and crispy. Alright, so there go our done chicken. So we're going to let that cool off for a second. Now it's time to toast our buns and get our condiments together. Okay, so now it's time to toast our bun. So of course we have the brioche bun. Gotta have brioche. It's like the best kind if you ask me. And we gotta get it to its maximum flavor and taste. So before we toast it, some people like to butter it. Me personally, I like to use mayonnaise. Now, people use Kraft mayo. Some people use Miracle Whip. If you ask me, I like Hellmann's. Hellmann's is the best mayonnaise out there, one of the best. And I like olive oil in my mayo. So we're just gonna squirt some on the bottom bun and on the top bun. More. And we just gonna, just smear it out evenly so it can get on all parts, because we want all this to be on there. Now y'all might be looking at me like, why are you using mayo instead of butter? Trust me, if you know, you know. Shout out to Smoking and Grilling with AB, because he actually put me onto this. I've been watching his videos for a while now, and when I started seeing him use the mayo on the bread, I said, you know what, let me try that. And once the first time I tried it, couldn't stop no more. So, okay. So we fully coated our brioche buns with the olive oil mayo. Now, let's get them toasted. Okay, so we have our mayo spread buns right here by the saucepan. It should be nice and hot now. I had it on for about 5 minutes up on high. And I just turned the heat down. So we're going to place our buns on the pan. And that's what you want to hear. When you're hearing that sound, you know it's doing good. Quick tip. Don't cook all your food up on high. If you do, your pan will burn just like mine did. But we're going to just let that sit for a few seconds and then we're going to take it off. Okay, our bread is done now. Now we can take it off. And look at that. That's going to be good. See? That's going to be good. Make sure you turn your fire off. Now, the hard part is done. Let's start assembling our sandwich. Alright, so it is finally that time. The hard part is done. Our chicken is done. Our brioche buns is done. The homemade Chick-Fil-A sauce is done. And our condiments are ready. So all we got to do now is assemble. So first, what I'm going to do is I just want to put a little bit of this Chick-fil-A sauce on the bottom bun. Because I just want every part of the bite to taste this sauce. This sauce is so good. I'm trying to tell y'all, once y'all make it at home, you wouldn't even want to go back to Chick-fil-A and buy the sauce anymore, because it tastes just like it. And if you tweak it up, I promise you, it even tastes better. This tastes better than any Chick-fil-A sauce I ever had, and this is no cap. So I'm going to put it on the bottom bun and put it on the top bun. Okay. Now, Chick-fil-A, they like to put their pickles on the bottom, so we're going to put our pickles on the bottom. And they put the lettuce on second, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to put our lettuce on. Now the chicken. So I took this piece right here up front because this one, like, it was calling my name. So I wanted to try this. And we'll save these other two for someone else who might want a sandwich. Okay, so now you assemble the tomatoes. Put that on the top bun. And personally, I like onions. Like I told you, this is your recipe. You can't go wrong. You make it your own. So I'm going to place onions right here on top. And then you just go right on top of it like that. And now you're done. You have a homemade spicy Chick-fil-A crispy chicken sandwich. Alright, everybody. Thank y'all for joining me. I really enjoyed making this. This was my first time trying to make a replica Chick-fil-A spicy crispy chicken sandwich. So um, I'm glad that you joined me on this journey. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell notification icon because we are going on a blast. My next video, I'm I can't decide if I'm gonna make the Wendy's Bacon Eater or the McDonald's Big Mac Copycat. So if you want to know which one I'm gonna do, make sure you tune in to that video.